With the oceans covering most of the planet, it's quite understandable why humans haven't been able to fully explore its depths. The thing is, it's not that we do not want to venture deep into the ocean, it's just that we still don't possess the technology needed to safely explore it thoroughly. Without drowning and such. As a result, there is still an uncountable number of underwater discoveries yet to be made. Today we're going to be looking at 10 mysterious things found underwater. Make sure you stay tuned for number 1, because it's the perfect example that shows our ancestors knew more than what we gave them credit for. Number 10. Underwater Stonehenge. A strange stone formation with more than a passing resemblance to Great Britain's Stonehenge lies at the bottom of Lake Michigan. The monolith's origins are unknown, but they're thought to be thousands of years old. The site was uncovered by Mark Hawley, a professor of underwater archaeology at Northwestern Michigan University College, and his colleague Brian Abbott in 2007 while they crossed the lake in a ship loaded up with sonar equipment. However, the discovery has thrown up more questions than answers over the years. The plot thickened when a carving of a mastodon, a distant relative of the elephants that had been extinct for over 10,000 years, was discovered in one of the pillars, suggesting its origins could stretch all the way back to the very last ice age. A similar monolith has also been discovered in Europe, this time in saltwater off the coast of Sicily. Although experts believe these stones once served as a primitive form of lighthouse technology, illuminating the way for seafarers in a bygone age. Number 9. The Yonaguni Monument. The Yonaguni Monument, located just off the coast of Ryukyu Islands, Japan, is a massive underwater rock formation that is speculated to have existed for more than 10,000 years. But whether the formation is completely man-made, entirely natural, or has been altered by human hands is still up for debate. The monument was first discovered in 1986 by a diver searching for a good spot to observe hammerhead sharks. After its discovery, Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist at the University of the Ryukyu, explored the monument for nearly 2 decades. Kimura remains convinced that the site was carved thousands of years ago when the land mass was above water. According to Kimura, the Yonaguni's numerous right angles, strategically placed holes in aesthetic triangles, are signs of human alteration. He also claims that carvings exist on the monuments resembling called a script. He believes that a pyramid, castles, roads, monuments, and a stadium can be identified within the structure, which for him is evidence that the monument is what remains of the lost continent of Mu, the Japanese equivalent to Atlantis. Number 8. The Bimini Road. In 1968, a diver off the coast of North Bimini Island, Bahamas, discovered a series of stones 18 feet below the surface. The stones appeared to be man-made and were evenly spaced out in a road-like line stretching for half a mile. A storm of publicity immediately descended on the discovery, with a number of individuals claiming the stones were a portion of wall or a road that was formerly part of a larger city. Everyone hoped the discovery would be connected to Atlantis, and the discovery of 2 other similar roads spurred the excitement. Being one of the better well-known legends in the world, anything found during an ocean dive even resembling a man-made structure has caused serious waves of media attention. Could the Bimini Road be really the pathway to the long-lost city of Atlantis? Or could its existence be explained as natural phenomenon? What do you think? Number 7. The Baltic Sea Anomaly. More than 90 meters beneath the waves of the Baltic Sea lies a weird object that resembles the, and I kid you not, Millennium Falcon from the Star Wars movies. Referred to as the Baltic Sea Anomaly, the strange circular entity was discovered by Swedish explorer Peter Lindbergh and his Ocean X team in June of 2011. Pictures and videos were taken of the object, with the eyewitnesses claiming it looked like a giant mushroom, and samples of it supposedly brought to the surface for analysis. Conspiracy theorists leapt on the find and hailed it as proof aliens have visited Earth, and for 5 years few other explanations for the phenomenon presented themselves. And then another theory arose, with people speculating that this thing was actually a secret Nazi anti-submarine device. Very recently, scientists from Stockholm University carried out analysis on samples carved from the Baltic Sea Anomaly, and concluded that it is simply a glacial deposit. But Lindbergh isn't satisfied with that conclusion, pointing out that it doesn't explain why all of his electrical equipment cut out when he arrived in the object's vicinity. Number 6. The Underwater City. Now, we're not talking about Atlantis here. The sunken city in the Bay of Cambay is a massive sprawling city stretching 5 miles long and another 2 miles wide. It was a huge, powerful city with walls, sculptures, and businesses. But the most mysterious thing about it is that it was built 9,500 years ago, more than 5,000 years before the first great cities began to appear in Mesopotamia. The discovery of such a massive city in India built so long ago completely changes our understanding of human history. Debris recovered from the site included construction material, pottery, sections of walls, beads, sculptures, and even human remains, which were carbon dated and found to predate the 4,000-year-old Harappan civilization. The city was lost for thousands of years, buried under 120 feet of water in the Gulf of Cambay. It was pulled underwater, it's believed, when the ice caps melted at the end of the last ice age some 9,000 years ago. It's still not Atlantis though, so hey, there's that. Number 5. The Train Graveyard. Off the coast of Long Branch, New Jersey resides a mysterious wreck that has historians and enthusiasts puzzled as to its story. Lying in 90 feet of water are a pair of steam locomotives, which lay at the bottom of the sea for over 100 years before being discovered. When divers first encountered this odd sight in the Atlantic, no one had a clue about the origin of this underwater train wreck site. The locomotives were discovered by diver Paul Helper while he was mapping the bottom of the ocean. He was using his magnetometer when all of a sudden he received 2 huge signals. He initially thought that it was an unknown sunken ship, but he was soon surprised when an even bigger mystery occurred. Railroad aficionados excitedly examined photos, counting wheels and peering closely at the remains of smokestacks, all which could offer vital details as to the train's origins. But still, no one can figure out where the trains come from. The most widely accepted explanation is that the engines were being shipped from Boston to New York and were possibly pushed or washed overboard in a storm. Why the crew would not have reported missing 2 steam locomotives once they made port is anyone's guess. Number 4. The Underwater River. There's an underwater river flowing under the ocean in Mexico, and you've gotta see it to believe it. Located just 15 minutes away from Tulum on the Yucatan Peninsula, this submerged natural wonder will blow your mind. Approximately 180 feet below the ocean's surface, this freshwater river is separated from the saltwater above by a layer of hydrogen sulfate. Because of the limited visibility during the descent through this hydrogen sulfate cloud, only advanced scuba divers are allowed to make this dive. The cloudy layer is termed a halocline, an area where freshwater and saltwater meet. The haze is due to the sharp contrast in salinity. Once through the fog, fallen trees and leaves can be seen on either side of the river. This is just one of the many cenotes or natural sinkholes that formed as a result of groundwater being exposed by collapsing limestone bedrock nearly 6,500 years ago. Cenotes are especially common in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico, and because of their mystic and unique qualities were once used by the Maya for sacrificial offerings. Number 3. The Underwater Cemetery. There are no flowers or gravestones to mark the resting place of the lost citizens of Camiguin, only a giant cross rising up out of the water to mark where this place of rest once was. In the 1870s, a volcano near this place erupted and caused the cemetery along with the capital city surrounding it to sink below sea level. In order to commemorate this place of loss, a looming cross was built in remembrance. Visitors all over the Philippines and the world came to admire this man-made marvel filled with legend and enchantment. Some say a feeling of loneliness will hit you once you see this structure standing all alone in the middle of the sea. A place of reverence and reflection, the site is accessible by boat and visitors can stand on its small base while it remains above water. Many take the small boat ride in order to take photos and soak in the view of Mount Vulcan, the volcano that sacrificed the people of Camiguin to the sea when it came into being. Now it's time for today's best pick. Today's best pick was sent over to us by a subscriber, and it shows something that, if found whether on land or underwater, you shouldn't even think of approaching. Number 2. Cluster bombs. A cluster bomb is a container filled with small explosive bombs called submunitions. This container may be a shell, rocket, missile, or other device. It can be either dropped from an aircraft or fired from the ground. It opens in mid-air and releases the submunitions. This scatters a carpet of bombs over a large area without any degree of accuracy. They have been banned since 2010 under the Convention on Cluster Munitions, but is it possible that there are still many undetonated and undiscovered cluster bombs just waiting to be found? Today's photo shows a typical cluster bomb that seems to have seen better days. Its belly ripped, exposing the hundreds of miniature bombs just ready to explode. Since this photo was sent in by a subscriber, there is no sure way to verify its veracity. As of writing, there have been no recorded instances of people finding undetonated cluster bombs, whether on land or underwater. While true thousands of undetonated bombs have been found buried in various places all over the world, all of them have pretty much been documented and safely detonated. Nevertheless, when exploring on land or underwater, please always exercise caution because the next stone you upturn may also be your last, if one of these deadly killers just so happen to be buried underneath it at least.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. The ANTIKYTHERA mechanism. The ANTIKYTHERA mechanism is one of the world's oldest known geared devices. It has puzzled and intrigued historians of science and technology since its discovery. Consisting of at least 30 bronze gears and a wooden container that was only the size of a shoebox, the clockwork mechanism was highly advanced for its time. By turning a hand crank, the user could move forward or backward in time. The crank made the gears move and rotate a series of dials and rings on which there are inscriptions and annotations of Greek zodiac signs and Egyptian calendar days. The unique bronze and wood object was found with a shipload of marble, coins, glassware, and pottery in 1900. Since all the other artifacts were more apparently worth of conservation, the mechanism was ignored until 1951. After an additional 2 decades of study, the first publication on the ANTIKYTHERA mechanism was made in 1974 by physicist and historian Derek D. Sola Price. However, Price's work was unfinished when he died in 1983, without having figured out how the device actually worked. Which mysterious discovery intrigued you the most? Let us know in the comment section down below. Want more videos about the mysterious and the unknown? Click on any of the videos you see on the screen. As always, thanks for watching everybody, and you all have a good day.